I understand that the story of the alien abduction of U.S. lumberjack Travis Walton over the past 48 years has garbled a great deal of detail that actually took place, or that is the speculation of dozens of authors who have written on the subject. Perhaps even Walton himself in his book, The Walton Experience, which came to the reader in 1978, about some details of what happened omitted, or vice versa. These details embellish. And the film Fire in the Sky, shot in Hollywood in 1993 based on this book, does not correspond at all to Travis's stories. It is believed that the director of this film masterpiece in Walton's book lacked expression, so the writers added to the original story their own events. The undeniable fact remains that some people still believe in the authenticity of the story told by Travis Walton, while others are trying their best to prove him wrong. For example, former UFO whistleblower Philip Klass has spent over 15 years trying to prove that the whole story of Walton's abduction was his own idea in collaboration with other loggers, in order to obtain a delay in payment of the advance received from the customer by a team of woodcutters for the completion of the work. In his opinion, the brigade did not complete the prepaid work within the specified time, but did not return the money to the employer, referring to the clause in the contract, force majeure circumstances, which in their opinion was the kidnapping of Walton. An opponent in the class dispute, another ufologist from Arizona, spoke in 1993, convinced of the veracity of Walton's story. After talking to the contractors for the Travis Brigade in 1975, an Arizona ufologist found that the force majeure clause was missing at the time of the signing of that contract. There are other facts that don't fit Travis's story, but we'll talk about them later. In the meantime, let's remember what happened if we stick to Walton and the lumberjacks and his crew. An incident involving the alien abduction of Travis Walton occurred on the evening of November 5, 1975, at the Apache Sidgreas National Forest in Arizona, USA. Having completed the deforestation work, Travis and 6 of his woodcutters boarded the car and moved towards Snow Lake, where their loved ones were expected to be waiting. The car was driven by woodfeller foreman Mike Rogers. Before they could get far from where they had been before, Rogers hit the brakes and the car stopped. Instead of responding to the indignant cries of his passengers, Mike reached forward, pointing everyone into the evening sky. There, just above the trees, a little away from the side of the road, against the background of the evening sky, hovered flickering sidelights. Flying saucer. Unexpectedly for everyone, ignoring the warning shouts in the back from his comrades, Travis jumped out of the car and ran towards the UFO. He did not run 10 meters when he was struck by a bolt of blue lightning fired from the side of the mystery machine. Walton was thrown back. He fell to the ground with a broken doll and no sign of life. Frightened by the incident, Mike Rogers emerged from the momentary paralysis caused by the recent events and squeezed out the accelerator pedal, trying to leave the scene as quickly as possible. Subsequently, in the pages of his book, Walton himself explained his unexpected decision to leave the car. I was afraid the plate would fly away and I'd regret never satisfying my curiosity. I hurriedly got out of the car and rushed to the soaring ship. I was almost running. I heard the clanging of the mechanisms coming from the bowels of the plate. I thought I was swimming in the yellowish light coming from the object. Then, I felt a powerful vibration in the air around the ship. Travis then reveals that he felt a blow in the solar plexus, after which he lost consciousness. When the shock passed, Mike Rogers stopped the car and held a brief meeting with the other loggers. Despite fears for their lives, it was decided to return immediately for Walton's body. But when they returned to the scene, they discovered that Travis's body had disappeared, as did the flying saucer itself. It was then decided to go immediately to the Snow Lake police to report what had happened to them and Travis's disappearance. For 5 days, the police, who had organized a large-scale search, tried unsuccessfully to find Travis Walton's body. On the evening of the 5th day of searching, Travis's younger sister answered the phone and recognized her brother's voice in a whisper. Walton told his sister where he was and abruptly severed the connection. As it turned out, he simply lost consciousness from fatigue. On his way to the hospital, Walton gave his first statement to the police, who found him lying next to a telephone booth from where he had previously called his sister. According to another version, Walter took his brother, who came to pick him up, and then took him home. And to the hospital, Travis was only 2 days after he was found. But I think this information is unreliable, because the first thing his sister had to tell the police about his call was that she was looking for him. According to the police, he looked tired and exhausted, but the most interesting thing was that Travis had no idea where he had been all that time, and was surprised to learn from the police that he had been searching for the 5th day. According to Walton, when he was unconscious, he woke up in the same place where he had previously lost his senses. Looking around him, he did not see a car with the rest of the loggers, but saw how the flying saucer was slowly floating in the sky in the opposite direction. Struggling to get back to the suburbs of Snow Lake, he reached the telephone at a gas station where he made a call to his little sister. There is so much material about this mysterious case that I have to split it into 2 parts. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. UFO Lord will continue to study the topic with UFOs. Good to all.